Hi, I'm James Davis.
And I'm Claire Davis.
We're the Midlife Mentors, here to lift the lid on how to achieve health and happiness.
The balanced, no-nonsense way.
Hello, it's James here.
And it's Claire here.
And you're listening to the Midlife Mentors podcast. And today we are going to talk about getting going, really, when you feel you might have got stuck in a bit of a rut, in a hole even. What are the steps you can take to pull yourself out of it?
Yeah, we've been asked actually, because we asked you to tell us what you would like to hear more of. And one of the main things was like some practical, small, daily things you can do to pull yourself out of an unhealthy hole. You know, out of that, fall off the wagon. What are the things that you can do that won't disrupt your entire life, but will make a huge, huge impact? So that's what we're going to do today.
Yeah. I think it's really important to talk about these steps you can take, because sometimes it can all feel a bit overwhelming.
Absolutely.
Particularly if you're not really sure where to start and you're thinking, oh, I don't know what to eat, I don't know what exercise I should be doing, should I be doing exercise? Wouldn't even know about some of the mindset and emotional stuff you could tap into as well. And it's easy to get stuck and just keep putting off.
Yeah,
what
and feeling like it's too late. A lot of people, we've all been there. This is why we can relate so well. Is we've all been there where we've left it so long, so late. The weight's crept on, the jeans have got tighter, we have less and less energy, we know that we're comfort eating, our habits have just completely fallen off the wagon, and it can feel, like James says, so overwhelming to pull it back from the brink. But unfortunately, the best time to start was yesterday. The next best time to start is right now. So we are going to share these little small ways to start making a big difference. And the main thing is yes, it's amazing to have a goal. 100% have that in your mind, but don't over focus on it. So that top of the mountain can feel so overwhelming. So let's just give you small steps that you can take right now. We can give you some advice of where to start that will start making a massive difference.
Exactly.
Just one thing to say, we are going to talk about, like James mentioned, we're going to talk about the body, mind, the emotional side of it, and also, let's call it spirit, because to look at any of those in isolation is completely the wrong way to go about it. You can't maintain any of this if any of those elements are out of whack. You have to look at the whole person.
That's true, totally. We found this with ourselves, found it with countless clients. You could do all the training in the world because you want to achieve something, but if your mind's not really there supporting you, if emotionally you're not there, in the long run, you're not going to succeed at it. So paying attention to other stuff is totally important as well. The other bits of the toolkit.
Yeah, holistic approach, we call it.
Yes.
So let's start, shall we, with the body and some practical ways we can start making a difference with changes with the body. So I don't know whether you want to kick off with this, James.
Yeah, so Public Health England issues guidelines for what adults should be doing for exercise, and for a long time it was kind of the standard. I think it was 3 times a week, 20 minutes of brisk activity that got you slightly breathless, which is great advice, by the way. But at the end of last year, they actually
breathless.
updated it to include some form of resistance training twice a week. And before we all start thinking about big weights, no, not at all. It can just be using your body weight and in quite a gentle fashion. But the reason for this, they realised that as we age, we start to lose our muscle mass, our skeletal strength starts to decline as well. Doing load-bearing exercise will help prolong your strength, your muscle mass, and your bone density for longer and longer. So they've included this, and we think it is great advice. And so listen, it's not about suddenly signing up to the gym and seeing how much you could bench press.
No, not at all.
It's about making a commitment to, at the start, maybe 3 times a week, short bursts of 15 to 20 minutes of stuff you can get your head around. And ideally you would want to be mixing up something that will get your heart going, get you breathless, which we call the cardiovascular system, which is improving your fitness, and something that's going to actually help improve your muscle tone and strength as well.
But this is where people get it so wrong, and it does really, gone are the days where you have to, like James said, like have to have a gym membership, have to go on a treadmill, on a cross trainer, hours to get any results. Our massive passion is HIIT, which is high intensity interval training, and you just only need to do that as you're starting out. You only need to do like 10 to 15 minutes at the beginning to really, really start noticing a difference. And I'm going to do a really shameless plug here, but it's not shameless. It's literally, if you do not know where to start, guys and girls, just reach out to us. We have a 4-week Back to Fitness for over 40s program that literally lays out exactly what you should be doing, how long for. I mean, it's a step-by-step process. So if you're in the dark, don't stay there. Please reach out to us.
No, totally. Listen, if your baseline's really low, then doing anything is going to be great, just getting out and moving. But you want to progress to the point where you're doing stuff that's going to give you the best kind of bang for your buck in terms of results. And that's where the HIIT comes in, like Claire was saying.
And that's what our program does.
Yeah, and mixing in some form of resistance as well, which can be body weight. But body weight, it means things like, it could just be like sitting down on a chair and staying up again. Like we call it a squat in inverted commas. But if you're not confident just squatting down, just sit on a low chair, stand up like 10 times over. Great,
yeah.
You're working your leg muscles there, your core's working.
And that program I mentioned, you don't even need to step in the gym. It's all at home, and all of our programs are like that. So please reach out, because what you think is necessary for you to do to make massive changes, I can guarantee isn't.
True.
So
I think the second thing related to that is also find something you love, right? So there's what we feel we should be doing, or what's going to get you the best results. But here's the thing. The best exercise you're going to do is the one you are actually going to do. So let's say we decide swimming is the best thing ever in the world, but you absolutely hate the water and hate swimming.
I hate it.
There's no point, right? So find a thing you love as well, and that might be at the weekend. It might be a long walk in the country. It might be a bike ride.
You might like running. I don't. I absolutely killed myself last weekend doing a 5k run. It's a true story. Not cardiovascular, but my legs were in absolute...
you were in trouble afterwards.
I was in trouble, people, just because my little hip flexors hadn't done anything like that for a while.
It's what happens when she tries to compete with me, I'll tell you.
James wasn't even there. So yeah, absolutely do something you love, not what other people tell you is good. Like all these spin classes, I love to teach spin, but again, it's not really people's bag. So don't go and do it. Don't. Find something you love.
Yeah, so that's tip 1. Just start to move that body 3 times a week, 15 to 20 minutes.
Now on to nutrition. Our fave. The small tweaks you can make to start making a huge difference and get you back on track.
Listen, I love the nutrition.
He's really geeky about it.
I also love my food and I love my booze. So listen, I'm not going to sit here and presume to lecture you about counting calories and all the rest of it. Yes, if you feel you're carrying too much body fat, knowing your calorie target and creating a deficit will massively help you. But it's not always about that, right? It's about having a life in balance and making small tweaks at the start.
Absolutely.
So the first one I'm going to tell you is actually, it's been super effective for us and for our clients, is fasting.
It was a game changer for me, to be honest. It really was.
Yeah.
For my body composition.
When we say training, actually specific, it's HIIT. So it's short bursts, 15 to 20 minutes of high intensity interval training. First thing in the morning. Now, why, I hear you ask? You've probably heard a lot about intermittent fasting, and we will cover that on another podcast.
We're going to talk all about fad
diets and things. But basically this, very simple energy exchange system. When you eat, the food is transformed into glucose for energy. What you don't use there and then is then stored as glycogen in your muscles. What you don't use there and then is then stored as body fat. It's very simplified, but that's basically what happens. So you can imagine, if you have like your massive meal, and you don't move around, your lots of glucose in the system doesn't get used, which then stores as glycogen, doesn't get used, stores to fat. Obviously, overnight we've slept. Hopefully we haven't got up and walked to the fridge and eaten a big cheese sandwich in the middle of the night. So
I don't anymore.
We're pretty fasted. Our glucose and glycogen levels are going to be low first thing in the morning. So if we go at intensity and create what we call the oxygen debt, so we get out of breath, not only are we going to burn through those residual energy stores, we're going to tap into the body fat as well. And it really does work, as we can attest and our clients can attest.
So just black coffee, black tea in the morning to get you going, and then smash out some of that HIIT. Is honestly, it really was a game changer for me. So the next one.
Well, no, I was going to say, I know something you'd be thinking like, oh no, getting up and doing that first thing in the morning. And yes, I hear you. It is a big change potentially. But here's the thing: 15 or 20 minutes, the beginning of the day, and it is done. You're done for the day, and your metabolism spikes.
This is a true story as well. I was definitely a night owl before James and I got together. I was a night owl.
Oh yeah.
Not like that. Sorry, people. Sorry. I was a night owl in the sense that I would like to go to the gym and train at night. And actually, when James and I got together, he was all like bouncy Tigger in the morning, wanting to get up and work out. So I actually flipped it on its head, and very reluctantly, it did take me a little while to get into the habit of getting up and enjoying it. But now I do. I genuinely couldn't imagine training at night. It totally changes my outlook, my mood. It shifts everything just doing that in the morning, and sets you up for the day, because you just feel proud. You feel proud that you've got up, you've got more energy, and you know you're burning through those calories all day.
It's a great feeling.
The next one, am I allowed to move on now, James?
Well, actually, I was going to say you've got three there, because it's related to the body energy exchange system, which is front load your energy needs.
He's changing everything here.
Freestyling.
He's just freestyling. I'm a Virgo. I like to plan a little bit more than James does.
It just makes more sense to go in this order, Virgo. We just talked about the body energy exchange system. So, like, what you eat is basically fuel for your body. So here's the thing: there's that saying, "Breakfast like a king, prince like a lunch, dinner like
prince
a pauper."
Like a lunch.
Lunch like a prince.
Or lunch like a prince.
Lunch like a prince. Dinner like a pauper. And most of us tend to do this in reverse. Actually, we tend to like grab something on the go light for breakfast. It's then probably like a sandwich or something at lunch, and then we have a big dinner. But if you think about it, you're waking up, your body's empty, you're filling the tank, you're going to burn that through the day. So just start thinking about front loading your energy needs in the day, in particular with your carbohydrates.
Again, huge game changer for me and my female clients in particular, but this is for everyone. Just even shifting to not having any heavy carbs after about 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
What do you mean by heavy carbs, Claire?
What do I mean by heavy carbs? I mean potatoes. I mean white rice. I mean white pasta. I mean, what else do I mean?
Root vegetables, basically.
Root vegetables, bread, all those sorts of things. After 4 o'clock, you are not doing yourself any favours by eating those really heavy carbs. I kind of try and avoid the white carbs anyway throughout my day, because their glycemic index is really, really high. We're going to go into this on another episode, don't worry, about all fad diets and nutrition. But I would just say, like, don't try and cut out those really heavy carbs in the evening. It will make all the world of difference. You know, the bowl of pasta that you have at night, smothered in pesto, that is a massive difference that you can start doing right here, right now.
Which leads us really nicely into perhaps the easiest one of these to do, which is cutting back and out as much as you can the sugars in your diet.
The devil.
So, I think we all know now sugar's the enemy. It causes a lot of health issues, and it is in a lot of our foods. A lot of manufacturers add sugar. So the really easy way to avoid it is basically like stop eating as much processed food. Just try and cut anything pre-packaged out, anything that's been processed.
Yes, even your sandwiches that you go and grab during lunchtime, they've got sugar in them, guys.
You'd be surprised how much sugar is. I mean, to give you an idea, NHS guidelines, anything with 5 grams of sugar below 100 grams is low. Anything with 22 grams per 100 grams is considered high. And I'm sure you'll get a shock next time you really remember that and look at a food label. You
really will. It's really hidden, and you'll be, even things that are masking themselves as healthy, like protein bars and protein shakes. Don't get us started on some of those things. They're masking themselves as healthy. Please check the sugar content.
Yes, and look out for things on the ingredients label. Like, obviously, sugar will say sugar, but it's described as a lot of different things. You'll see these days, I've seen coconut nectar, date syrup, date sugars, palm syrups, anything that's basically syrups or sugars in it, or now nectars, which is the new one they've come up with, is going to be sugar. Metabolizes in the same way in your system. You don't.
However, there's another little bad boy that's sitting at the in the ingredients list that
There's a very naughty one called maltodextrin. Chemically, its structure, it makes it a starch. So food companies are allowed to not include it as a sugar, although it tastes very sweet and still it causes an insulin spike in the body, as it is used as a sweetener. It's a technicality that it doesn't have to be classed as a sugar, but rather a starch. So I've even seen amazing cereals that say sugar-free, and I'm like, wow, that looks incredible, that granola. And I've read the back, and it's like second ingredient, maltodextrin. So, yeah, technically it is sugar-free, although, of course, it's really not, because it's got this amazing sweetener in it, maltodextrin, which is going to cause an insulin spike and is going to cause you all the same kind of issues as sugar.
Which is why you shouldn't be eating it. I don't know whether we explain this properly, but that's why you shouldn't be eating your carbs too late at night, by the way, because of that insulin spike. So again, we're going to cover this in another episode, because we know it's, there's so much to go into, there's so much knowledge there, and we want to give you as much as possible, but also keep the flow of this episode. So
let's just review those 3 basic tips. Just front load your energy needs in the day if you can. Try and taper out at night, especially with carbohydrates. Do some fasted training in the morning, a couple of times a week if you can. And just try and cut out as much processed food and sugar in your diet.
And look out for those
labels.
Out for the hiddens. So now we're going to go on to the mind. Okay, so what can we do? Some practical steps for the mindset. Because as we banged on about, if you've listened to the other episodes, if you haven't got your mindset in the right place and it's not aligned with what your body is trying to achieve, you won't sustain the results for very long. That is a true story. We've seen it in ourselves, we see it with everyone else. So in order to align your mindset with your body goals, what can we do? Well, let's look at habits first of all. So we are a bundle of habits. We all are. We have triggers that we then respond to, and then we get the reward. These are habits that we have in our life. Some of them work towards us and for us, and some, what are you sitting there smiling at me for like that for? I feel like he wants to take the mickey out of me for some of my habits.
Right, I'm keeping it firmly buttoned.
Don't talk about other habits. We're talking about health and wellness here, James. Okay. Some of your habits are going to be really, really helpful. Some are going to hinder the goals that you want to go after. So one of our little tips is to pack your gym bag.
This is why I was laughing, Claire.
Why?
See, as Claire said earlier, she used to be a person that struggled in the morning.
Why? Why do you take the mickey out of me in public?
So here's the thing, right? If you're not naturally a morning person, if you're new to exercise and you said, right, tomorrow I'm getting up at 6 a.m. to do my 20 minutes of exercise, you want to make sure you've got your kit ready to go when you jump out of bed. Jump out of bed, Claire knows that. What you don't be doing is stumbling around in your underwear with your eyes half shut.
You don't wear underwear to bed.
I'm sure no one wants to know that. Trying to locate your trainers and your lip gloss. All those things are going to delay you.
What are you talking about? Your lip gloss?
Yeah,
you're looking for your lip gloss? Sorry, guys. I mean, we're getting a real insight into James. No underwear in bed. He stumbles around trying to find his lip gloss in the morning.
Maybe I should just be quiet now.
No, but it's true. I mean, it's not about if you're actually working out at home or you're doing one of our home workouts, for example. Just get your trainers out by the side of the bed and lay out the leggings or outfit that you're going to literally just put on. Don't give yourself any excuse not to do the workout. And another one, by the way, stop pressing snooze.
So if you think about habits are unconscious behaviours, right? It's that just we get the trigger and we do the thing. So what you want to do is actually override your thinking process. So when that alarm goes, you're like, I'm out of bed and I'm putting my trainers on and getting my gym kit on.
I call it the 5-second rule.
Yeah, don't stop and think about it, and then it will become a habit.
Just jump out of bed. Honestly, that's what I've had to do. 5 seconds, alarm goes off. I have to get out within 5 seconds. Oh, I'm pressing snooze. Or James is hitting me on the head. So that's one. Another one is actually fitness trackers. So we're going to be really honest with you. We don't use these personally. I don't use a fitness tracker. I think I just kind of know how my body's responding. I don't really need it. But for people that are new to this and need to get into the habit of really knowing their level of activity and what's going on with their body, I think a fitness tracker is a really, really good incentive to get you moving, because I suppose it's like an accountability piece on your wrist. You're being reminded that you haven't moved enough.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think they're great. I mean, I have seen people get obsessed by
Yes,
them.
so be careful.
You know, and they're just like shuffling from foot to foot at the bus stop trying to get
Yes.
their steps, which is not a thing. So don't kind of like set tight rules by them, but they will really clearly give you an idea of, you know, how much output you're putting in or how much perhaps more you should be doing that day. So I think they're useful as an accountability tool.
Yeah, and obviously if you're completely new to fitness or you haven't done anything for a while, absolutely walking and your steps is a perfect way of just getting you moving and active again. However, what I would say is, like, going on that whole obsessive piece, people are just trying to get their steps in, but make sure you are doing varied workouts and doing varied things that, like the HIIT, that bring your heart rate up and down to really get a decent bang for your buck, basically. So it's not just all about steps, but it is a good piece. Another one,
Of course, if you can't get a digital buddy, get a real life one. Get an accountability partner. So this is why personal trainers work, because that means you've actually handed over some money to someone to meet them at an ungodly hour in the gym and have them shout at you.
I never did that.
No, I never did that. I'm a very nice trainer.
James is too nice.
But it works, right? But the same if you've got a buddy. If you've said to your friend, listen, I'll meet you in the park at 7 a.m. so we can bash out some circuits, then you don't want to let that person down. So it's a really, really powerful tool.
And it's something that we see with all of our clients, which is why we created the Academy. It's one of our main pillars of the Academy community that we created a year ago now. It's been alive for a year. But it's a place where we come together as a community and we're all kind of accountable to each other, because it's really, really hard to stay on track when you haven't got those people really, really cheering you on. And I hope that's what we do with our lovely community. So that's a point, is just to have someone else there, hand over some money or get someone to work out with, because it's a great way to motivate you.
And you can celebrate your tiny victories as well. When you smash your PB on something, you know, you can high five each other and it's a great, great feeling.
And then go and get a glass of wine.
Yeah.
Then go and have a drink. Anyway, the next one is, final one, is emotion. So...
You're very emotional, aren't you?
Well, actually, she's not finding it right. Emotional. So emotional and the spiritual one. We're kind of looking at emotion and spiritual here, all in one. But when we say emotional, you know, the whole emotion around how you feel about your body and your goals and how your relationship with food. You know, we always say this. It is very, very, very much in your mind. It's how you feel emotionally. And what can we do? What are some simple things that we can do to bolster your emotional state so they're in line with the person, the body, and everything that you want to become? So one of the things that we really, really do rate is actually affirmations. So again, kind of have a bad rap with some people because it feels a little bit woo-woo, and I think some people feel that they are saying an untruth to themselves. Do you know what I mean by that?
I think it's had bad portrayal in too many things there, where you've got someone in the mirror going, yeah, you're the man!
You're the man! You're the man! You're the best!
And they
You're
have
the winner!
got a corny kind of like reputation, but you know, here's the thing, like take that away, they do work if you're doing it with meaning for yourself.
Yeah, I think actually it helps. We've got an app that we started using about a year ago called Think Up. You'll be able to find it on the App Store. And basically you're able to record some of your own affirmations that do bolster your emotional state when you're feeling down. And listen, we all have times where we're going to fall off the wagon. We're all going to have times where we don't feel very confident. We don't feel like our self-worth is kind of on the floor. So these are just hints and tips. It is worth a go. It's worth a try. Just give yourself a little extra boost. I'm going to give you a few examples here.
Oh, lovely.
I know. So, for example, one of them would be, people say, oh, Claire, what's an affirmation? So I'm going to give you one. My one would be, I am safe to be the happiest, healthiest person I know. Or, my fitness is improving day by day. I am falling in love with my body more and more. So just by repeating those things, you're starting to instill that into the subconscious mind. And the subconscious mind is a tricky little beast. It will stop you moving forward because it likes to stay in its comfort zone. It likes to keep you safe. So that chatter that it's constantly telling you about why you're not good enough, why you're not going to reach your goals, why you failed in the past, this is a way to override that negative chatter that we all experience. And I know you know what we're talking about here. So it's just starting to instill some new beliefs to whack aside some of those limiting behaviours and beliefs. Another thing that we often come across when a affirmation is really, really helpful is the whole self-sabotage. So have any of you, I know you would have any of you been where you're kind of on the health train, you're probably being too restrictive with yourself. I'd say like 98% of ourselves go on a diet. We're being too restrictive with ourselves anyway. But then what we do is, we're doing really well, we're starting to notice a difference, but there's a bit of your brain that's going, you failed before, this isn't who you are. You've never been really slim before, you've never been really healthy before. I don't know what this is like. And your subconscious mind gets incredibly scared. It wants to put you back in the box of where you've always kept yourself, and it sabotages all your good work. You go out, you get smashed with friends, you drink a bottle of gin, you go and eat kebabs till the cows come home, and then all of a sudden your subconscious mind goes, yeah,
Told you so.
And that's what self-sabotage is. So we have to start recognising what some of those triggers are. And it does come down to a lack of self-worth. But what we can do with some of these tricks and tools with the affirmations, and another thing that we're going to talk to you about in a second, is override that. And we have to, guys, we have to override that, because then if we don't, we're never going to expand into the fullest versions of ourselves. And that's what we're meant to be. We're meant to be wonderful human beings out there shining our light. So
this is really important stuff, and for years I neglected this side of it. I was just kind of like, if I can just nail my training and nail my diet, then everything else in my life will be all right, and of course it wasn't, because you've got to address the whole thing.
And I still see myself do this. I will always be honest about this. With the business, for example, it's going fabulously. We're recording this podcast. We're having great feedback. And then sometimes my little bit of my brain will go, no. Remember this. And it shifts up all these past memories and shuts me down and stops me being vulnerable. And that is not what I want. So it's just recognising it happens. Awareness is power. And then having some affirmations. Or the next thing we're going to talk about in your kit list.
Gratitude. We
talked about this a little bit before.
A really important one, I think, that is often neglected these days. We take a lot for granted in the modern world. Like, a lot of us will take the food that we eat, the roof over our head, our health for granted, because we're fortunate to live in the developed world with like a lot of stuff going for us, right? We live very comfortable lives compared even to our grandparents, and definitely to our great grandparents, who were probably like, wow, today was a great day. I didn't get like injured in an industrial accident at the mill and half a loaf of bread. We just don't have that, most of us, fortunately. But that can mean our gratitude sometimes goes out the window, and we forget to be grateful for things.
It completely does.
And when we lose our gratitude, we lose our appreciation, and it becomes like a slippery slope.
Yeah, and here's the thing. This is not something you just have. This is something you cultivate. Like confidence, gratitude is is a practice, everyday practice. It's mindfulness. It's noticing the things that are in your present moment that are beautiful and that a lot of people don't have, and you have to cultivate it. It needs to become a habit. You need to put in the reps. So as much as you're putting in the reps in the gym, as much as you're sorting your nutrition out and sorting your habits out, you have to start noticing things that you are grateful for in the present moment before you get more of it. So the more you become grateful, the more you'll see things around you to be grateful for. So that's more of kind of like a little...
And listen, there's active practice. Obviously, like that takes a while, tuning in and being, I'm grateful for this, grateful for that. There's also just installing a habit. It takes you like 5 minutes in the morning. You can just grab a bit of paper, just write down 3 things you're grateful for from the day before, and 3 great things in your life at the moment. And just doing that every day will change your thinking.
So I don't know whether we want to do a really quick recap, right? So
yes.
We've got These are practical things to get you out of your slump, out of your vicious cycle if you've been in an unhealthy hole, right? So,
move your body.
Move your body. Move your body. 3 times a week. It doesn't have to be long. You don't need a gym. If you need help, please reach out. We'd be more than happy to help you. Do something you love also.
Cut out your processed foods and your sugars and front load your energy in the day, especially your carbohydrates. And if you can, do your fasted training, a couple of times a week at least.
So your mindset, okay, start cultivating, become aware of your unhealthy habits, start cultivating some habits that are in line with the goals that you want to go for. Pack a gym bag, get your trainers out, look into buying a fitness tracker.
Find a buddy to train with.
Find a
buddy. Even
buddy.
if it's once a week,
Or join our community. And then the emotional side, look at your self-sabotaging behaviours, be kind to yourself, know what your triggers are for those self-sabotaging behaviours, know that everyone has them. And then pick an affirmation that you say to yourself in the mirror while you're cleaning your teeth, for example, every single morning.
And finally, practice gratitude.
And there we have it.
There we go. And with that, we're going to say thank you.
Yes,
for listening.
Massive thank you. It means a world to us. Your support so far has blown us away, hasn't it?
Yeah, we're number 2 for midlife on the iTunes already.
Well,
which
we
is
are. We've
awesome.
only had
so thank you, and we're very grateful for that.
We really, really are. And please, as we always say, we love your suggestions. We've had lots in. This was actually the basis of this week's episode, was some suggestions around practical tips that don't take long to implement. So please reach out. We think you're awesome. Go and have the most incredible, incredible day.
You've been listening to the Midlife Mentors with Claire and James Davis.
We'd love to hear from you. So drop us a line at info@themidlifementors.com with any questions or topic suggestions.
And make sure you join us on our Facebook page and YouTube channel. You can find us under The Midlife Mentors.
Yeah.